Hi, my name is Leah Day, and welcome to this video for the Building Blocks Quilt Along. Today we're stitching wiggly lines in our pinwheel block, and this is basically taking the first design that we learned, a lot of straight lines and sharp angles. We're going to take that design and stitch it all the same design basically, this time with wiggles. And the cool thing about it is we actually flow through the block the exact same way. So let me get on the machine and show you a super quick way of knocking out this block without any travel stitching at all. So here we're on the block, and I'm going to knock this out really fluidly. I'm going to stitch this wiggly line in, wiggly line out, wiggly line in, then wiggle all the way through this area and get to this point. And then from there, I'll have these wiggly lines to do the exact same thing. So really, once you knock out one section, you're going to basically wash and repeat through the entire block. Now, one other thing I'm doing, I'm going to cheat. For this block, I'm not going to stitch it in the ditch. And I want to show you what it looks like because you don't have to. For this particular design, if you don't want to stitch it in the ditch, you don't have to. So that might save you a little bit of time. So here we go. I'm going to stitch this wiggly line in. And you know, these wiggly lines are so simple. If you don't want to mark them, don't mark them. You could totally freehand quilt this. I'm going to get in there close to that tip, but not really on top of it, because there's going to be, even with without the ditching, the stitching in the ditch, there's still going to be a lot of density in that area of the block. So I'm going to still avoid that exact center point. I'm wiggling up and now wiggling back down again. This time I'm going to have to stitch in that point because I've got to transfer over to the next space. So there we go. Needle down, rotate, take out my pens and pen moors, and then start wiggling into this section. It's really easy to take a big stitch when you're coming out of that center point. That's okay. Don't obsess about it. There's just so many seam allowances underneath that area that if you find the block jerking, like it did that just a little bit for me in that area, don't worry about it too much. It happens. Really the point is you don't want to just stay there and run your needle stitching up and down in that spot, because you will probably break your thread. Okay, so now I'm just wiggling up and down. These are basic wiggly U shapes, but we're going to start bending and turning and kind of twisting this around a little bit here. I wanted to come up with something kind of funky for this block, and also for you to see that you don't have to stitch wiggly U shapes all in one line. You can bend it, you can twist it around. So here I'm going to get to about this point and stop, rotate, and continue stitching it from left to right. Because I haven't ditched the block, I might see a little bit of puddling. That's where the fabric kind of bunches up just a little bit around that seam area, around that ditch. It's not the end of the world. Don't worry about it too much. So I just might see a little pocket of extra fabric right there. It's not going to hurt anything. Now I'm going to stitch over and hit my next set of wiggly lines. All we do at this point is just repeat those same set of steps. Wiggle in, wiggle out, wiggle in. When planning a quilting design, it's really nice if you can come up with a number of lines or repetitions that will get you into the next area, so you don't have to do so much travel stitching, or you don't have to do so much fiddling or breaking thread in order to get to all the areas of the block. And these, the first one and this one, this is number 3, really seem to be about perfect. And also saving time not stitching in the ditch means that this block is actually going to be really fast to finish off, really fast to quilt. So now I'm stitching a little bit more of these wiggles. Whenever you feel like it's out of control, you can't stay on the line well, or you can't see what you're doing, that's when you know it's time to rotate. I get to about that point, and I really, holding onto the block is also a little challenging right there, but rotating it around, you have a lot more control over it. So from here, I'm basically going to do the exact same thing 2 more times so that the entire block is filled up with these beautiful wiggly lines. And just so you see the back of it, even without the stitching in the ditch, let me get these loose threads out of the way, without the stitching in the ditch, it still looks beautiful on the back. So that's it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed learning these wiggly lines in our pinwheel block. This is a really fast design. You can flow through it seamlessly. There's minimal travel stitching. The only area you really need to watch out for is coming into that center point where all those seam allowances are together, where all those pieces came together. As long as you watch out for it and remain mindful as you get near that area, it's not going to be a big deal. So my name is Leah Day, and this has been a video for the Building Blocks Quilt-Along. Pick up your copy of the Building Blocks quilt pattern and join us as we learn how to piece and free motion quilt 42 beautiful blocks together. You can pick up your pattern at leahday.com. Until next time, let's go quilt.